It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Southwest.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. I am really glad you joined us this week because we're going to have a lot of fun in the next half hour. When the weather is warm or even hot, there are very few ways that are as reliable for catching game fish than going out and fishing under a bridge. Not only is it cooler for the angler, but those piers and pilings that support those bridges are natural attractants for all kinds of bait fish, and then guess what? The game fish follow closely in behind, especially the crappie. And on this week's show, we're going to give you some tools and techniques that will help you go out and fish under your local bridge at your local reservoir or lake and have a great chance of catching your own batch of great tasting crappie. Now, to demonstrate this, we're bringing you out on Richland Chambers Reservoir. You can see just over my left shoulder, there is the main highway bridge that goes across Richland Chambers. Richland Chambers has an abundant population of crappie and will serve perfectly to demonstrate exactly how you can go out and do this on your own. While we're out in the Nitro Z8 doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports from your favorite lakes, rivers, and bays from our Insider Reporter team. Hey, we're geared up to go. The Nitro Z8 goes down the boat ramp, and right now we take you back to the FSN studios for your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are predicting poor conditions for game fish activity on both days this weekend. Peak times will take place in the afternoon on Saturday, beginning at 3:09, and again on Sunday, starting at 4:06 p.m. Expect the sun to rise at 7:10 and set at 7:36. And night skies will feature a moon that is 74% illuminated. We're coming right back with all the current freshwater and coastal fishing information from around the area. Plus, Bassmaster angler Tommy Biffle joins us with some advice for finding bass in low water conditions.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Luz, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Got him. Good one. Good crappie. Good crappie right there. All right, look at that. Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad to have you with us. We've got a flopper in the boat with us right there. There is your big old bridge piling crappie right there. Look at that beautiful specimen. That is a whopper. Well, as you can see, we've made it out here on Richland Chambers, and look right here. Fishing by the bridge pilings. This is such a classic way to catch crappie in the summertime during any of the warm weather months. It is a dynamite thing to do. Now, let me tell you right up front that there are a lot of factors to try to figure out. You've got where the sun line is, where's the shade line. A lot of times the crappie will relate to that. You've got, is there any brush around the bottom? A lot of times people will come out here and sink man-made brush piles around these bridge pilings. A thing I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes is current. Current is real critical because it washes in around these bridge piers, bridge pilings, and it sets the crappie up in a certain way, and I'll show you the technique for trying to get your jig swimming at just the right angle to take advantage of the current. There's depth. They'll definitely relate to depth. Now that fish was not on the bottom. We're sitting out here at about probably 30 feet of water, something like that. But you don't want to be fishing down on the bottom in 30 feet. That fish was only about 12 feet down, so they suspend up. A lot of factors. There's a lot going on under these bridges and a lot of things that you need to key in on. And if you can pay attention to the little factors, the little stuff, you can find the pattern, repeat it, and fill up your live well with those bad boys right there. All right, we're off to a good start here. This will work at lakes all around our region. Let's get you some fishing reports started. Let's go to Oklahoma with Gary Dollahan.
Hey, it's always been my experience that September is one of the more challenging months here in Oklahoma to pattern bass. And I think a lot of that has to do with this being the transitional time of year that it is. You know, our hours of daylight are getting shorter, the water temperatures are starting to fall back down instead of continuing to rise, and of course our daytime and nighttime temperatures are changing as well. But you know, there is one pattern for me that seems to be consistent for this month. I think that you can catch fish doing it too. That is to target the isolated pieces of cover on the flats. I'm talking flats that are 1 to 4 feet deep. Look for a single stick up, look for a single clump of grass or a stump. 3 things to do when you approach that. Stay casting distance away, drag a rattle trap past it, drag a buzz bait over the top of it, and swim a saw flicker or a biffle bug past it. One of those 3 things is going to work. You're going to catch some nice bass doing that. You're going to have to move around a lot to catch those bass at this particular time. Now, Big George Foster, a crappie expert here in our state, he's always told me that the best way to catch crappie this time of year are find the horizontal pieces of cover, like a log laying on the bottom. George Tolson proved that to be true this week at Grand Lake. He was bass fishing, kept running across some horizontal logs laying on the bottom, pulled out his crappie jig, had a great day catching slabs doing that. So George and George, thank you for those fishing tips. If I was going fishing this week, I would target Lake Texoma. The lake has been the most consistent in the past few weeks. The bass fishing is good, so is the striper and white bass fishing. For those largemouth and smallmouth, you're going to throw topwater and crankbaits, staying in about 10 to 15 foot of water. Looking for those white bass and stripers, go a little bit deeper, 15 to 25. You can catch those fish on live shad, also some swimming soft plastics like the swimming minnow, the sweet swimmer, and things like that that have an action tail on it. Great time of year to be fishing in Oklahoma, but one thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Got him. Got another one. Oh, big one, big one. Big dude. Jumping like a bass. Got him, look at that. All right, hey, whoa, 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 I'm hitting the bridge. Welcome back, everybody. Crappie fishing today on bridge pilings. That's a light colored one right there, and look how deep he ate that jig. That's a Bobby Garland. I'll show it to you at the end of the show in the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff. Let's talk about current for a minute. He got it pretty good, but I think I can get him unhung. There we go. Pink electric chicken color with an orange head. How about that for bright? All right, let's talk about current for a second. I mentioned it earlier. Right now, we've got a prevailing wind coming out of the south, and what it's doing is it's blowing waves and blowing current around these piers and pilings. What that does is it funnels the current around, and you can see with your good Costa sunglasses, polarized, you can look in that water and see tons of bait fish, little minnows, little shad, all kinds of bait fish swimming right around the base of that pier, but they're always on the protected side. So a lot of times what these fish will do, and I'll show you right here, is the fish, you can see these waves coming around this pier right here. And a lot of times these fish will get right here on this protected side where there's not any current, and they're lazy. They'll just sit there and wait for those bait fish to swim upstream. They've always got their nose pointed into the current. So that fish is going to be sitting below the pier right here, and he's going to be sitting facing the current. That way the bait that comes around in the current, he just picks it off one at a time. So what you want to do is sit downwind, pitch upstream, upwind with your jig, and let it swing and fall back with the current. It's almost like trout fishing in a trout stream where you're pitching that fly upstream and letting it go down. You want to do the exact same thing with these crappie, and you just might catch a great old big one like that. There's a big daddy. All right, we're going to get you some more fishing and lake reports from your local lakes, rivers, and bays. Let's go to Louisiana with Cajun Phil and Kevin.
I'll tell you what, fishing right now all across the state seems to be pretty good right now. We've talked to all of our guys all the way across the state. They're all doing good. Captain Bill Lake down around Houma, Dulac, Dularge area is doing good. Anthony Kazar down around Cocotree, he's doing really good. These guys are catching redfish and speckled trout, and they catch in big numbers. Down around Venice, Josh Howard, still catching lots of tuna right now, also some amberjack showing up. Tell you what, where to go, I could tell you right now because it's all good. Slidell, Captain John Fallerman, give him a call. Captain Mike Gallo, they're both catching lots of redfish, speckled trout, drum, sheephead, whatever you want, they're going to put it in a boat. Over at Lafitte, Louisiana, Tofield Bourgeois and his guys, they're doing great. They're catching lots of redfish around Lafitte. Tofield's flying down to the islands and catching lots of speckled trout. They're doing wade fishing. Over at Delacroix, Sweetwater Marina, Captain Jack, he's catching lots of speckled trout and redfish. As far as bass fishing goes, talked to Joe Jocelyn up at Toledo Bend. He said, Phil, early in the morning, late afternoon, around 6 Mile, Housen, down on the south end of the lake, they catch lots of bass. Schooling during the daytime when it gets really hot and warm, if you want to stay out there in the water, lots of school bass action. What they're throwing is small spinner baits or clear topwater baits for the schooling bass. As far as the other bass, they're fishing about 15, 18 foot of water, looking for points or ridges that's going down into the lake, throwing Carolina rig, and they're catching a lot. Small plastics, nothing big, and they're catching lots of bass right now. Nothing big, lots of 1.5 to 3 pound bass, but tell you, as far as the Chapelai Basin goes, talk to our friends down there around Baton Rouge that's been going down there. They're catching bass on spinner baits and on crankbaits, small crankbait though, something that's going to run not very deep at all. Also catching lots of brim right now. Fly rods, if you like to fly fish right now, tell you what, all these kayakers, get out there with a fly rod, you'll catch all the brim you want in the Chapelai Basin. Right now, friends, all across the state of Louisiana, I'd say it's pretty darn good. You want to make a trip? Come on down here to Cajun Paradise Lodge and Charters. Captain Kevin has 6 guides working for him right now. We're staying pretty busy, but I tell you what, remember, the Flounder Run's right around the corner. We'll be bringing you up-to-date reports on that too. Give us a call, Cajun Phil, 337-540-5530. Till next time, this is Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin, who's out there snarching and yanking right now. Saying happy fishing, may God bless, and we're going to see you folks next week. Bye-bye.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. By Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, welcome to the big leagues. By Fort Worth Nissan, Fox Sports Outdoors is powered by Fort Worth Nissan. And by Whataburger. Get your day started at Whataburger with the new jalapeno cheddar biscuit.
Got him. There's one. Good one. Good fish. All right, there's one more. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today. Doing some crappie fishing out here, a little ultralight jig fishing, one of my favorite things to do. And let me tell you something. I told you at the beginning that there's a lot of factors to this and a lot of things to figure out. That fish was a prime example of something I do very often. You can see I'm under this bridge. Look up here, you can see the traffic going across the top of me right here. But you can also see that I'm not right on the bridge piers. Now, I did catch some fish earlier, some nice ones doing that, but right now these fish seem to have scattered out a little bit. A lot of times what they'll do is relate to the shade. So you can see right here, there's a shade line running across here. It's real bright sunny out there, and it's real dark shady in here. And a lot of times these fish, if they're not locked on the piers and pilings, they just get out here and roam. And so you can take your little ultralight. That's my little Wally Marshall spinning rig, my Lose rig. You can cast it out, let it go down, and just free swim it back toward the boat. And a lot of times they'll just be roaming around out here. Now, they're not on nothing, they're on bait. So the bait will get to roaming in this shade, and the crappie will roam with the bait. So you want to keep an eye on your sonar, your fish finder, watch for those schools of bait, cast around them, and a lot of times that's where the fish are. Not as big as the others, but a good, solid quality fish. All right, about to drift into some piers here. Got a lot of wind. We're on Richland Chambers Lake, but this will work on any lake that's got some depth under a bridge. Now, 6, 8 foot a lot of times won't work, but in the hot summertime, if you've got 15, 20 feet of water under a bridge, you've got a lot of crappie under there and some white bass, largemouth bass as well. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports. Let's go to Texas Freshwater with Brian Hughes, followed by Bill Olson on the Texas Gulf Coast.
Hi folks, this week on Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by More Security and Heritage Safes. We're not at one of the bigger reservoirs across Texas. As a matter of fact, we're at a small urban pond. Now, Texas Parks and Wildlife has a program called Neighborhood Fishing, and they want you to know about it. In the winter, we talk often about the trout stockings that they do in little ponds just like this, but there's a summer program as well that involves catfish. They will stock your neighborhood pond if you can find a sponsor, and they have locations of already stocked ponds on the Texas Parks and Wildlife website. Now, fishing small ponds like this is not just limited to these urban ponds either. You can use golf course ponds and smaller drainages around the state. You'll just have to check around your neighborhood to find the small water fishing. It's convenient, it's handy, you can do it really quick, and it doesn't take a lot of special gear. Use smaller baits, smaller rods and reels, and light line in the 4 to 6 pound test range with things like beetle spins and road runners, and that'll get you bit on these smaller waters. Remember, as Parks and Wildlife says, real fun, close to home. That's this week Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by More Security and Heritage Safes. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, fall is happening. Though it may be slow to start, patterns that occur in the fall are underway. First, Tropical Storm Dolly raised tides last week, and this week those tides are receding. Typically, as tides fall this time of year, redfish that have been actively schooling in bays ride those tides toward passes and jetties on their way out to the Gulf. Look for fishing around the jetties for both slot size and bull reds to increase. Now on Sabine, Galveston, and East and West Matagorda Bays, bird activity has picked up. On those falling tides, bait have been pulled out of the marshes into the bays. Plus, the first cool fronts of the year are starting to arrive on the Texas coast. Look for these to be both a wind shift as well as a drop in temperatures. This temperature differential will stimulate trout, flounder, and other species to feed. Look for a good topwater bite to continue into the coming weeks. Now, don't forget the surf on light wind days. Water temperatures are still warm, and there's still plenty of fish close to the beachfront to be caught. Mid-coast action is also picking up, with some of the best action occurring behind St. Joe, Mustang, and North Padre Island. The shorelines along the mainland have been good. The grass beds along Laguna shores, down to Pita Island, and the King Ranch shoreline have given up fish that are becoming more active as conditions cool. This weekend, Saturday has a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides. This Sunday is a 3 tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Whataburger Ask the Pro, where viewers get insider tips from top anglers. This week's question comes from Mike, who would like to know, how do you locate bass in low water conditions? For the answer, we checked with Bassmaster Elite Angler Tommy Biffle.
Well, extremely low water is probably, pretty easy to find and catch them in because they don't have as much water to hide in. So, the structure places are where they're going to be. Old creek channels, the old timber that was in the lake from years past, and that's where you want to start looking for those bass.
Thanks, Tommy. If you need help from one of the pros, visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's see who wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest is Joey Wynn of Early, Texas, showing off a 10.76 pound largemouth bass he caught at Lake Brownwood out in West Texas. This is our first ever Costa Catch of the Week winner from Lake Brownwood. And to boot, he caught it in a tournament. If you would like to enter our contest and be our next winner and the winner of a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses like our winners this week, all you have to do is go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. The right-hand side of the page is the Costa Catch of the Week box. Click in there, follow the instructions to send us your big fish photo. And if we choose yours and show it on the show, not only will you become an instant television star, you'll win your very own pair of Costa sunglasses. And you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles right back at our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click on the Costa logo where you can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles, like the frame style I've been wearing on this week's episode. It's called Brine. Next up, it's the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, the right gear to go catch your very own mess of crappie from your local bridge, piers, and pilings. It's your favorite lake, and I love to do this with my 5.5-foot Lew's Wally Marshall Signature Series matched ultralight rod and reel set. It's got a lot of flex. It's a lot of fun to fight these crappie on this little light action rod, 5.5 foot long, perfect for doing this. I like to spool that reel up with Stren 6-pound test fluorocast line. And for the bait, I like to use the Bobby Garland 1/24 ounce Moglo jig head with either a baby shad, or that particular one is a slab slayer body, and that color is called Electric Chicken. In my 50+ years of living, I've learned that it's very easy to fall into what I call the rut of life. It's that point in life where every day becomes the same grind all over again. You get up the same time of morning, have the same breakfast, drive the same route to work, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch a little television, go to bed, get up the next morning and repeat the same process all over again. One of my mentors has taught me a couple of his favorite sayings. First one is, if it ain't broke, break it. And change for change's sake is good. Life is way too short to spend in the grind of every day being the same rut. So change a little something. Change the time you get up. Change what you order on the menu. Change your route to work. Just do something to break out of that rut, and life becomes a much more interesting place to live. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our trip today to Richland Chambers Reservoir in East Central Texas. This place has got a lot of crappie in it, but I know that your favorite lake does too. And I can promise you that the exact same techniques that we used on the bridge today will work at your favorite lake, as long as you've got somewhere between 15 and 25 feet of water under those bridges and along those bridge piers and pilings. Hey, don't forget to join us for next week's episode. We'll be on Thursday at 10:30 p.m. with the repeat airing Saturday morning at 7:30. If you miss any episode, you can always check us out 24/7 in full HD right back at our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, where you can also click on the More Episodes and Video button right below the main video frame. It will take you to our brand new video page. We've got how-to videos, all of our past episodes, lots of other great videos right there on that page on our website. It's one-stop shopping. And don't forget to join us at our Facebook page, the address you see on your screen, with lots of photos, video, and the latest fishing news, and on our Twitter feed at the Twitter address you see there. Be sure and click to follow us, and you'll always get the latest fishing updates from our local regions. From Richland Chambers Reservoir in Texas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes, saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.